Often the only real difference between anxiety and excitement is the story that our brains actually attach to that feeling. And what if the story that our brains attach to that feeling is the reason both you and your dogs react the way that you do? We want our dogs to feel so much calmer in this world, and you have the key to do that. Today, I want to talk about anxiety and excitement. How do they both make us feel? Our hearts beat faster, our breathing increases, and we get that rush of adrenaline. This YouTube channel is completely new to me. Now, I could have allowed myself to go down the route of feeling nervous every time I'm going to do one of these videos. But instead, what I'm actually doing is I am reframing it. I am focusing on the owners that I can help, just like you. That excites me. And I remind myself about that. I remind myself that I want to feel excited to do this YouTube channel. I could allow myself to focus on what will people think. I could be worrying about the tech side. Me and tech don't always match. I could really let myself focus on that, and I could let myself get really, really worried about it. I'm not. I'm being very, very firm with myself, and I'm reminding myself that I'm here because I'm excited to be here, and I want to help dog owners just like you. You can help your dog feel excited rather than anxious. So think about different scenarios where you can tell your dog goes into that anxiety. We are going to reframe that for your dog, and we are going to help you turn that into excitement for your dog. I was on a walk with this little girl a while back, and there was a dog ahead, and she wasn't massively reactive, but there were times where she would get worried by other dogs. And I could see that she had spotted this other dog, and I knew straight away that she was getting herself worried. Her body tensed up, her tail, so she's got a lovely, beautiful tail that normally is always up. It dropped and it was down below her, between her legs. And I could see her body was really tensing up, and she'd stopped walking, and her eyes, she was eyeballing this other dog. Now, I knew I needed to interrupt this pattern quite quickly. I did not want her rehearsing feeling worried or anxious. So what I did with this little girl is I asked her to do one of her favourite party tricks, which are spins. As soon as I asked her for a spin, her tail went back up, her body relaxed, she focused on me, she was having fun, and she had also broken the eye line with the other dog, which was really important. That was something I wanted her to do. And she was comfortable to do that as well because she was happy doing her spins. If she had not wanted to break that eye line, if she'd been so worried by that other dog that she couldn't break the eye line, then that is a lot more serious for her, and that tells me we need to do something different. In this scenario, I knew that by interrupting that pattern quickly before she went down that downward spiral, I could, like that, I could flip her from anxiety into excitement. Now, I knew that she was safe. I knew this other dog was far enough in the distance, it was on lead, I knew it was not going to come near her and it was not going to jump on her, which I knew was her concern because she's quite a small dog. She's had a few dogs jump on her and she's not liked it and it's frightened her. So I was fairly certain that was the main concern for her, was this other dog coming up to her and jumping all over her. I knew she was safe. She didn't know that. Our minds are very, very good at playing tricks on us. They don't always know the difference between the reality and what our brain is thinking. So her brain was thinking, oh, that dog's going to come and jump all over me. It didn't understand the reality of actually, no, that's not going to happen because the other dog is on a lead. It's not going to happen. Her brain didn't understand that. So she naturally was feeling worried. And that's where we want to help our dogs. Was the other dog was the same. The environment was still the same, but I had managed to change her emotional state from anxiety to excitement. And that is actually really exciting. When we realise we can do that with our anxious dogs, that is really exciting. Now, if you've watched my video on rehearsal, you will recall me saying that what dogs rehearse, they become. that is really important for behaviours, but also their emotions. So if you have a dog that is always rehearsing, feeling a particular emotion when they see another dog, that emotional state becomes their default. They see another dog and they straight away get anxious, worried, fearful. So what they rehearse is really important. So as well as us wanting to change the behaviours that they're rehearsing, we also really do want to rehearse the emotional state that they are rehearsing. So if you've not watched that video yet, I'll pop a link down in the description below for you, so you can go ahead and watch that after you've finished watching this one, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Now, for our dogs, we can't sit down and have a conversation with them like we can with other humans, where we can help them understand the emotions, we can help them reframe that in a similar way to how I have had a conversation with myself and reframed how I feel about starting this YouTube channel. We can't do that with our dogs. So we need to think a little bit differently with our dogs. The way we do that with our dogs is by having fun, playing games, playing party tricks, which is what I was doing with this little girl. So spins totally light her up. She can be, just mooching around at home and you ask her for a spin and you see her little eyes ping to life. She loves spins. So let's look at the flow of how this all works together when we want to go from anxiety to excitement. First, we become aware of something. Let's use the example with dogs that they've seen another dog across the road. Now, once we have become aware of a situation, our minds will tell us a story. So for a dog that's just seen a dog across the road, the story might be, oh no, there's a dog over there. Oh, it's going to come and jump all over me. And oh, I don't want this. This story that dog is telling itself up in its mind, that will then trigger an emotional response. Now, if your dog is telling themselves a negative story like that, the emotional response is going to be anxiety, worry, fear. You're going to have a negative emotional response to that. That emotional response then triggers the behaviours. So if you've got a behaviour with your dog that you would love to help them transform, rather than just look at the behaviour, what we need to do is we need to look at the emotional response and the story that your dog is telling themselves first. That's really important. So we have got story, emotion, behaviour. And when we want to help transform that behaviour, we first need to change the story. When that story and emotional shift happens, you find the behaviours just naturally melt away. And it's absolutely magical when you see it happening. And all of that comes from changing the story. So instead of story, that other dog's going to jump all over me, emotion, I'm really worried, I don't want that to happen, I'm feeling really scared right now. Behaviour, it might be barking and lunging to fend off that other dog. We want our dogs to be saying to themselves, that other dog is safe. I feel safe and I'm happy and content to carry on playing and enjoying life with my person. How does this work in real life? You've got an anxious dog and you want to transform them from anxiousness over to excitement. Now, your ultimate goal is to go from anxious to calmness. That's a step too far at the moment. For a lot of dogs, both anxiousness and excitement, they're high emotions. So think of them up here. You have then got calmness, which is down here. Full on anxiousness, straight down to calmness. That's quite a long step. That's a big transition for a lot of dogs. It's a big transition for us as humans as well. For dogs, it's quite tricky. You will struggle. What we can do though is we can go from high emotion anxiousness to high emotion excitement. It's then much closer down to calmness. You'll find that transition works so much easier. You'll also get results much faster as well. So often when our dogs are anxious, we will ask them for calmness. We'll say, shush, it's all right, you're okay, calm down, don't worry about it. Asking our dogs to go from high energy excitement straight down to deep calmness, it's a lot. And it can sometimes feel impossible for them. that frustration that they can get from that. They're up here, you're asking them to come down here, and they can't do that. They can't regulate themselves enough. And that can then actually trigger frustration, which can then bring out even more undesirable behaviours. This is where games work beautifully for anxious, worried, reactive dogs. We are meeting them where they are emotionally. Instead of saying, stop feeling that big emotion, what we are actually saying to them is, let's channel that big emotion to another big emotion that is safer, and that is excitement. And once dogs start to feel content, playful, and connected in that situation of there's another dog over there, you will find that it's so much easier for us to then start bringing them down nicely into that calmness. So next time your dog starts to get anxious or worried and you see their body tense, maybe they stop walking, maybe their tail drops, next time you see that with your dog, ask them for their favourite party trick, see what happens. It works really well when there is something where you know that they are safe. So if you're walking and your dog is worried by other dogs and actually the other dog is 2 feet away and you're a bit like, actually that dog might jump on my dog right now. Don't do it in that situation. This is when you know your dog is actually safe. Your dog doesn't yet know that they're safe though, because their mind is telling them that story. So when you are in a situation where you can see a dog in the distance, it may be another scenario, you know your dog better than anyone else. So when you can sense that there is something in the distance that is worrying your dog, you know your dog is safe. Ask them to do their favourite party trick, play a little game with them. You know, some dogs love doing like leg weaves, or, you know, like this little girlie that we were talking about earlier, maybe they like doing spins, maybe they like catching. So if you've got some of their favourite food with them, you can start catching or start bowling it on the floor for them. Have fun and see where you go with your dog, and share with me, share it in the comments. Let me know how you get on with your dog. I love hearing from everybody. And if you've got any questions, again, pop them in the comments, and I will also drop a link for the video on rehearsal for you. Now, if any of you would like to go a little bit deeper in some one-to-one work with me, I will also pop all those details down in the description. We can work together on Zoom. Zoom training is brilliant. It works so well. So wherever you are in the world, as long as you have an internet connection and you speak English, we can work together.